And that brings us to 29 minutes after 6 o'clock right here on Alex FM 89.1. And we are joined in studio by the head coach of development, that is Ntate Ronnie Ndlovu. And we also have Ms. Piwa Nkosi, who is the juniors director at Run Alex. Good evening and welcome to Alex FM.
Thank you so much for the invite.
Thank you so much
to the listeners at home.
Thank you so much for the invite and good evening to you.
Thank you
to the listeners too.
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much for joining us. I get so excited. I don't know if you guys do know that I'm very passionate about athletics because I used to be a sprinter. I wish I took that seriously. I wish I was actually Run Alex existed when I was still that young, so that I would be able to. What do you want to say?
It's never late. It's never late. Honestly, look at Coach Ronnie. He ran his fastest comrades this year, 9 hours, 9 minutes, 4 days before he turned 60.
No, I can't do. I can't do long distance. It can never happen. I can't. No, my lungs can't take that one. Unless there's a way, because I think I've recently learned that. Who's this? Usain Bolt and also Sherika Jackson. Before they started running 100 meter, they started doing 400 meter to train their lungs so that they are able to take whatever that happens in the 100 meter. I don't know.
For endurance.
For endurance. Yeah, right. Yeah, I learned that recently, and I'm also looking at Shelley Ann Fraser Price is 36. I'm like, but if she's running at that level at 36, maybe I can. Maybe I can do that.
Training. Once you start training, you never know.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people who pick at the older they get, the more they pick.
Yeah, the more they pick, that's true.
It doesn't mean at your younger age you run faster than you are.
They mature like wine.
Plus, yeah, never I mature like wine. Wine.
Very interesting because some of our team members went out. Adidas had something that organized Go UJ.
Yeah.
It was a track like the 400 meters, 100 meters. And
yeah.
These people could talk
you understand? But that's not what running it's all about, right? It started early. There's a lot of things, or rather, there is more to running than us talking to say that I wanna run like Shelley Ann Fraser Price. Somebody might be like to say I wanna keep healthy, I wanna be fit. Can you avoid hukula? And am I lying? Running. It's not all about not running the marathon, but it also does a lot for you. Let's talk about that.
Exactly.
For when I'm running, how do you benefit from it?
To start with, running for me is a lifestyle.
Yeah,
it's a lifestyle, and I get joy from running. It keeps me away from a lot of things, and there are many issues that we are faced with.
Yeah,
and after running, all those issues are just aside, because the energy that you have of thinking negative things, you leave it there on the road. When you climb the hill, after climbing that hill, you are done with your problems.
It cleans the mind, right?
Exactly.
It does. It cleans the mind. It does. But ubereka kabana, right? It starts very early. For bana, maybe at some point. If you're talking about the under 19s, basal babanyani, you can start running professional ka 16, depending on how ngwana u develop ajwang. So, in terms of developing a child, how long does it take to develop like a player, to develop an athlete? How long does it take?
It takes about 7 years. Yeah, a child has to train for about 7 years. But the most important thing is to manage their expectations. Once they love running and they get used to running, they see other children coming first, second, and third, and they come 10th and think maybe running is not their thing. No, development is very tricky because you have to be patient.
Yeah.
And the most important thing is to manage their expectations.
Yeah, it's also I get a house maybe aiming from that and whatever. Exactly. You start now losing patience, or maybe it's not for you, and but develop it at the same pace.
Yes, and what they do, they want to overtrain now. And so you have to manage them.
Ari, let's talk about Run Alex, or rather Fit Kids 10 kilometers that took place. Lodengli participated in Moyona this weekend. Just give us a rundown of what was happening there.
Yeah, so Fat Cats 10Ks, it's here in Mall of Africa. So we, as a club, we took a decision, let's go support the race. Fat Cats is one of the clubs that supported our fun run earlier in the year. They came in numbers, and we also took a decision to go support. So it was a 10K race, but it had a 5K as well. So we had 25 of our juniors that participated in the 5Ks. And they had a lot of fun. I think Meragua coach came out on Sunday because all the girls, our girls, a 10-year-old girl, Tando Lenkosi was managed to get position 1. And then Svanda came in second. And then Shelembe came in third.
Wait, so first, second, third, Run Alex.
Yes.
So did Fit Kids have kids at that age that were competing with the Run Alex?
Remember, it wasn't kids. So they had 5Ks and 10Ks. So a total of 2,000 participants in that race.
Oh.
Where I think a majority of them were in there. I think about 1,004 were in the 10Ks. You know, and then the 600 was in the 5Ks.
Okay.
So in that 5Ks, it was kids, it was
adults.
So those kids were so let's not say the first girl. It was the first woman to cross over the finish line.
Ha! With she would have smoked me, Musa.
No, it's very interesting, and it's very encouraging.
That's interesting
to see them do that, because she ran in the time of 26 minutes. I'm like,
yes,
for a 10-year-old to run 5Ks in 26 minutes, it shows that there's a lot of potential. It shows, again, for us who saw the kid coming in, starting to run, it shows a lot of work that the coaches are putting in with the kids, you know, because kids at that level, you don't give them a strict program. What you need to do is make sure that they enjoy running.
Yeah.
They need to enjoy running. They need to enjoy coming to training as well, you know. And
that's true.
And they need to enjoy going to events as well. But it's all the efforts that the club has put in to make sure for the juniors take center stage, really. You know, we come from cross-country season, which happens in the winter season. So we put all our resources there. We make sure for the kids, they travel to Togoza, they travel to Davidton, they travel to Soweto, they travel to Western Era, they travel to Kagiso. It's expensive to put together resources like that to make sure, because we've got about 60 kids that are traveling, you know. So it costs the club a lot of money, but because we understand what we are trying to do there, and then now in spring season, now they're going to track and field. Now this Saturday, they're going to participate, but it's at 100 meters. So what we're doing as a club is that give the kids as much exposure as possible, because those ones run the 5Ks. Some of them might not be able to run long distance at 5Ks, but when you put them in the sprints, they do better.
Exactly.
Some of them, you put them in the cross country, they do better. So as a club, I think our mission is just to make sure they get as much exposure as possible and have fun while doing it.
This is incredible, actually. It also says a lot about the work that has been done by the coaches, Run Alex. So coach, when you look at this and these young girls, I mean, first position, second and third, that says a lot about the work that you do. But now, in terms of nutrition, because I think that's another important aspect of an athlete, right? How do you manage Banaba, Badulangmo Alex? There's quarter every corner, there's everything, you know. Maybe they're not supposed to, maybe you know, there's cheating daisy, quarter, and Nangaija every day, you know, you understand. So how do you manage, or how do you make sure Banaba they follow the meal plans, so if there is a meal plan? Because I mean, it's important. You can't just run and then waja just anything.
Yeah, no, we are not yet there, but we just give them advice to say they must eat fruits, vegetables, drink a lot of water, avoid fatty foods. But kids are kids, and some come from different backgrounds, and so it's a challenge. It's a challenge.
That's true.
Yeah, it's a challenge, but we'll get there.
So simple. Where were you?
Oh, well, 10Ks, 10Ks. It was just 5. Luckily we're not, but I must add, you know, it's not just one that did well. Their coach as well. I mean, he was the first over 60 to cross the line. So Leonanje o na le prize money ya gaga e tshwereng je.
Ke na le hope ya hore little producer a play I mean in athletes that's going to like ke na le hope because I didn't have, especially when it comes to sprinters. I think we'll get into that conversation right after an ad break, because we have a problem in South Africa, especially when it comes to females. It's a problem. Why doesn't that sprinter?
I don't think we put enough resources. Honestly, I don't think we put enough resources. If I ask you now, Mo Alexander, who's the fastest?
I could see.
Nobody knows. You can go to any school. Nobody knows.
Let's just hold it there. We'll be back. We'll continue the conversation right after the break. So do stay tuned on Alex FM 89.1. And 43 minutes gone after 6 o'clock right here on Alex FM 89.1 all the way to 7 o'clock. I'm still in conversation with Coach Ronnie and Spiwe Nkosi from Run Alex. And just before Ria ad break, Spiwe, we were talking about development. And I love the fact that these are young, these are girls. Because I'm worried. At least when it comes to boys, maybe there's hope nyana bo Benjamin nyana ba teng mo la le teng ka re lo tse teng a di promise go ra tse king out tlhakane. There's nothing that going on in South Africa. I don't know what's happening with the development, but I do know that the problem is definitely development, because we don't have a development system.
Yeah, so I think we need that culture, our patient and culture of develop. You know, when we started Run Alex, we didn't plan to be here, but we need to do things and respond to needs of community. And if you look at the kids that we're doing now, we only started working with kids in 2021 because we saw the need. What is the need to have this? You know, when we grew up here, there was I remember the late Walter Masemola. He went on to play for Gauteng Cricket. You know, one of the first guys. I remember there was a relay team that was known across Joburg. Those 4 boys from Alex. You know. But when you grow up now, there's nothing like that. So if you don't work together and put our resources together to develop Bana, all they need is a platform. That's all they need. Let's bring Nago, and then once part of our platform, look at people like Coach Ron. You know, the amount of time that it dedicates to these kids, it's amazing, and it's humbling to watch and see how much can be dedicated to Bana so much. As it comes to studio now, it comes from training level. You know, our club program is Saturday and Sunday because that's how much resources we have for Saturday and Sunday. But because he's dedicated, he's pushing Bana to come and train during the week. And you can see the results now, because the problem is that when we take our kids, as they're doing well over Shiloma training.
Yeah.
But once we take them to other competitions, they're not doing so well in terms of the results, overall results.
Yeah.
You know. It's simply because the kids that they're competing with.
Yeah, obviously.
These kids have got professional coaches. These kids train every day. They have school facilities. They've got all those facilities that they can use for training. Then come on, Mo Alexander. You know, and the thing is that the next Usain Bolt might be from Alex. But if you don't start programs like Run Alex, you'll never discover the child.
But Spiwe, you are right, because if Usain Bolt was in send what they have resources. They've had it for a long time. They've had resources for a very, very long time. So if I needed the next Usain Bolt or the next Shirley Ann Fraser Prize is in Saint what Tekwadi where is Umo the Hana resource Umo Hana resource Umo Hana resource, and that is the problem. And I think it's also beyond you as Run Alex. There's so much that you can do. Right, later the what you can do, you understand? Alina power to changing the background to Tabana to say this is what you must eat, because if you had that was also going to play a role in developing these kids. This is how I'm going to take care of my body. This is what needs to happen in terms of who build the muscle, whatever. You understand? Coach Ronika like I expected to high. Then there'll be another one coming I expected to high. But because you probably don't have those. Because I don't understand, and I need to know what is it that we are not doing in South Africa that the Jamaicans are doing, the USA are doing,
the Kenyans,
the
Ethiopians.
Why when it comes to that? Guys, we don't stand a chance. We don't stand a chance.
And it goes back to patience, you know. Rona we want quick things, you know. Patience, I was talking about coach to work over time. we don't do that. You know, we want khona jwana go na le Olympics that are
Yeah,
coming.
yeah, next year.
Everybody's gonna be focused now, and you know, let's.
Oh.
But what was happening after the Olympics? We drop everything now.
Exactly.
We need to develop that culture, that patience. And I tell you now, when the program started, it was like a joke when the program started. Now, you know, it was 2021. It was like, but how do a few the coaches were there? Little coaches didn't know what they were doing. But the club had to put resources for, okay, coach, here's a training course that's Gauteng Athletics offers.
Yeah.
Go to that coaching course. If you can go now, and I'm not lying to you, I can share with you the stats of the kids that were participating in all the events. Central Gauteng cross country. Alexander has got the most number of kids. You know, and this is because of the efforts of our coach. And that's one thing that we always tell the parents, guys, it's different now. It's not the same as in Rona Rohole was 1, 2, 3, and that's it. Pay attention to your kids, you know.
Support
might
the
get
kids,
yes.
yeah.
One can get position 1 today. Amatile 100 meters got 10 seconds. And then next week they get position 4. 100 meters but Amatile got 8 seconds. Which one is best? If you're going to look at the position, you will miss to see even though it's position 4. But Wanaka ran 2 seconds faster.
Yeah.
And those are things that we should Oscar compare
Kasheba,
yes.
Yes.
You know, that's one thing that's very important. And once our patients say as the parents, our patients say as community, our patients say as schools. And we need to learn to clap hands for ourselves as well. We're doing right. Like Banaba Ronaso, when they got these medals, first prize and second prize, it should be something that goes to their schools as well. So
Yeah.
that the
The other kids could see,
get
yeah.
knowledge, yes. Only then do the other kids now start taking interest and then battle. And that's when you find
That's when you
confidence.
discover
Yes.
the more talent, more Alex. You know, that's very interesting. But also, what's the process, Yangwana, to get into professional running? What's the process?
Yeah, at first has to start at club, you know,
Yeah. Like Run Alex, yeah.
yes,
Must be registered with the club
Yeah.
and be in a structure.
Okay.
Yeah, and start training. And so, as our director has alluded to say, the club has invested so much, especially on us coaches. We are grateful for Run Alex because we went for level 1 courses through CGA. Now we are doing our technicals for officiating. You must know the lineup. How do they line up? All those
Important,
fine
basics,
details.
yeah.
You see those basics. As coaches, we need to make sure that we cover all that.
All the angles,
Exact, all the angles.
yeah. So what I need, it's like right now you have, okay, the kid is registered the club, right? So how does a kid now get to a point where they run for your South African championship, your all these championships that are taking place more South Africa, all this running competition? How do you get there?
So now we come from cross country season.
Yeah.
So the kids had to participate in a minimum of three league season, and then they went to the championships. Then kids are Central Gauteng. Then Central Gauteng picks a team that they will take the best, and then those best from Central Gauteng they went to Gqeberha. They went to Gqeberha, and then they competed against the best from Pretoria,
from provinces.
Okay. From provinces,
Okay,
and
yeah.
then from there, that's when then they pick it. They choose the best to go and then represent SA.
So- Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
SA. So that's let's look at football. You need to be part of the club in the PSL. You get make it for the national team.
Oh,
And
yeah.
then
And then that's how you.
That's how you get to the World Cup. You know.
Oh, okay.
So Leona, it's
that kind of process.
So now
Oh.
now track and field is going to follow the same thing. Once they get chosen to go represent the province, then they go represent the province. Then from there they can go to the national championships.
You know. So let's talk about Batswadi, ne? Because one thing that I've realized, ka a black community, you know, not all of us. There's parents ba interested to support abana. They really are there to support their kids, and there's also parents ba karatang hotla, but they are unable because you might find out maybe Motswadi wa rekisa mo pen, so you can't leave because this is what feeds you. So you can't leave that place. You want to, but you can't. But let's talk about those that are able to but they don't know hore ngwana ha tsebe le hore ngwana hae o matha or ha tsebe le hore ngwana o na le talent ya matha or ngwana o dlala bolo. It's lonely for bana ba lo reng they are in sports in black communities, a lot of them. Let's talk about the important ya motswadi.
Yes. So I think coach will touch on it, but what we've done as a club is that as a club, one thing we've made sure before we can take one out anywhere, all kids are welcome to participate in our program. But before we can take them to any event, we need to see the parents. So we try by all means to have a monthly parents meeting. And I must say, when we started, it was very difficult, but our parents now,
they're cooperating.
There's a change of culture slowly, but I understand what is it that we're trying to do. They accompany us to events as well. So when we rent our transport for events, we make provision for parents. They come and they assist. I mean, we've got 60 kids. Coach cannot handle those 60 kids alone. There's parents that come. They come the oranges, come go training and then the orange and the culture, you can see the culture is changing.
Yeah,
Parents understanding. And then coaches go like coach, you can explain bana winning on Wednesday. We didn't take the prize money and give to the kids because there's a certain money that they were awarded
to. So the parents had to come in
to collect.
Yes. Yeah. Interesting ne. Ngwana motho a sang ka tla support ngwana. Ha o tla chelete ke na tlo accept sang chelete.
And interestingly, those kids that won there, their parents are so supportive. They are very supportive, and the important thing for the parents to support, the kids have to love running. Have to love what they are doing. From there, they can't stop talking about it. And then those parents, now they develop an interest to come and support. More especially, they can see that our kids are now out of the streets, off the streets now. They are doing something which is a positive, because kids have got a lot of energy, and so you need to channel that energy. You see, if you don't channel it, then they use it in a negative way.
And I get coach hona le batswadi ba bangwe ne. You find hore ngwana o atswa, it's either o ya bolong or o ilo matha, whatever ngwana decide to etsa.
Yes.
Bona le batswadi ba bangwe ba bana taba, they don't care. Oh, tla o botsa wena o phela o tswile o tshwara dibeke o ya bolong o tshwara dibeke o ya eng ha o etse eng. There's those parents ba lo reng and they don't think at this point, because I get ngwana o thola hore maybe ngwana o na le bo ma 16, they don't think it's important to support a child at that stage.
Yeah, and we are struggling with that group.
Thank you.
We don't have many of that group. But what is important with us, we've got indemnity forms. When they come to visit or they come for the first time, we give them the indemnity forms. They take them home. They come them signed. Then we give they give their parents contacts. We put them in the WhatsApp group.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Then
now,
yes.
Now, that's how you bring them closer so that they are part of this. Because it's important. It really is important. I was listening to a story, the other guy, and he was just talking about how he loved playing soccer, but at some point he had to stop and go work because it was lonely for him. He was not being supported. It was just literally that one child, Oloreng Bana, because he was playing around the Banaba Mahoa. And you know how white people take sports seriously. If Ngwana is involved, whether Wahon or Rahoni, they're going to be there. They're going to support that child throughout until whatever happens in the future. But with us, no. And you're the only one whose parent is not there.
Exactly.
So it's lonely. It's important that the parents be a part of Banabona from the beginning. You don't want to come mola envelope.
Yeah, at first we were struggling, but now when we've got parents
they are understanding,
meeting, they now come.
That's great.
And that group is helping a lot because they are able to communicate among themselves.
Oh, no, that's fantastic. That's what we want to hear. But before we wrap it up, is there anything that I've left out that you'd like to share with our listeners?
Yeah, so our program is for Banaka Felabamo Alex. We've introduced something that I think that's the next big thing here on Alex. We call it Read Alex.
Read Alex.
So what it does is that on Saturdays, training arrow nights on Saturdays and Sundays for Bana from 7 to 8. But now with Read Alex, we've introduced an additional compulsory hour. So from 8 to 9, the kids have to sit and read a book. So they don't just train their body, they train their mind. So there's a lot of things that we are planning around that program. And there are kids that might not be that are not love running.
But they would go reading.
Please, they must join us. Every day, from 7 o'clock on Saturday and Sundays. 7 until 8 we are training, and then from 8 until 9 it's the reading. So we encourage the parents, please bring your kids in, please support Libatos that don't have children. Please join the program. There's a lot of things that we can do to help the community of Alex grow.
That's a fantastic.
And coming back to the training, now that we've seen growth, we've got a midweek training, we've got a school holiday training. We started 7 o'clock in the morning, 7:45 to 8 o'clock we are done. Then when the school are opened, we started 4:45, 5:30 we are done, and we make sure that they go straight home. Yes, now that we have got this Read Alex, it will be easy for them to make sure that they can't just train, they have to focus on books as well.
Yeah. Exactly. Interesting. Thank you so much. And that's why we're going to wrap it up. Malibeko Sidiki will be coming on Alex FM Talk from 7 to 9 p.m. So do stay tuned for that one.